My Favorite Brain Part presentation by Easton Kindle. The frontal lobe is my favorite brain part. I believe this part of the brain makes me who I am today. Some of the functions of the frontal lobe include personality, behavior, and emotions, judgment and planning, speech, body movement, intelligence, concentration, and self-awareness. For personality, impulse control and the frontal cortex, among other things, help form a person's key personality characteristics. For behavior, many people's dopamine-sensitive neurons are in the frontal lobe. Dopamine is a brain chemical that helps support feelings of reward and motivation. Emotions. The frontal lobe is a key factor in being able to understand and react to the feelings of other people. This is also known as empathy. For judgment, the frontal lobe helps compare objects. This helps us categorize and classify objects. This also helps us distinguish one item from another. For planning, the frontal lobe helps us plan both verbally and spatially. Verbal planning in the frontal lobe happens in the left hemisphere of the lobe, while spatial planning happens in the right hemisphere of the lobe. For speech, this happens in the Broca's area in the frontal lobe, which we talked about in class, which helps us put thoughts into words. Damage to the frontal lobe can impair our ability to speak, to understand language, or speak in a way that makes sense. For body movement, the frontal lobe is the home of the primary motor cortex. This helps us coordinate voluntary movements, such as walking and running. The left hemisphere of the frontal lobe helps us control the muscles on the right side of the body, while the right hemisphere of the frontal lobe controls the muscles on the left side of the body. Intelligence and concentration. For intelligence, the frontal lobe helps us with forming memories. Even though many parts of your brain have some role in memory, the frontal lobe is a key factor in forming long-term memories. For concentration, the frontal lobe helps us with our attention and selective attention. The frontal lobe is the area in your brain that manages these. If your brain cannot properly manage these, then attention deficit disorder, also known as ADHD, may develop. Where it is located. The frontal lobe is located in the part of the brain's cerebral cortex. This is located in the front of the brain, which is also right behind your forehead. What happens when the frontal lobe is injured? You can become aggressive or irritable. You can have changes in personality. It can cause speech problems. It can cause difficulties with impulse control, trouble with planning or sticking to a schedule, and it can also cause poor coordination. Some fun facts about the frontal lobe. It is larger and more developed in humans than any other mammal. It also does not fully develop until your late 20s, which is why it is said you mature as you age. Here are my references, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.